many of you guys have ever thought about the benefits of studying abroad? Okay. There's quite a few people in here, so that's pretty good.
What about, how many are curious about the world outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, United States? Show of hands. Alright, well, Ben and I both have had the opportunity to travel or study abroad. Last March, I went to London, Cardiff, and Edinburgh, and as you can see, this is the journey we took. We started down here at Heathrow and took a bus and traveled all the way up into the Highlands of Scotland. This is the group that we went on, and so today we'd like to talk to you about the advantages of studying abroad.
And I went on this same trip 2 years ago in 2011. And my trip was just a little bit different than Beverly's, but it's the same basic philosophy. For us, we went to Paris first, and then we went over to London, and then we took a train up to Scotland, and then bus down back to London. So it's a little bit different trip, same advantages. We had a lot of fun on this experience. And this is my group here, and Chris actually went with us too, so it was a good trip.
One of the things that I personally felt was the most beneficial was to gain a new perspective on the world. As Americans, and more particularly as agriculture kids, we tend to kind of be strong in our ways. We kind of think narrow-minded. We tend to think we're the best, which you're right. We do have the highest yields. We do produce the most, but it's hard for us to consider how other countries can do well and they can maintain on their own. One example of this is right here. This is a passport. Now, those who are familiar with raising cattle or things like that, we have health papers and regulations like that. But every time, from the time a heifer or a cow calves to the time that meat animal is sent to the slaughterhouse, this barcode has to stay right near it. On the farm, in the trailer, in the cabin barn, wherever it goes, this passport has to go along with that. Now, in the UK, they raise a little over 180,000 head of beef cattle. Now in the United States, we raise a little over 34.1 million beef cattle last year. So it's kind of hard for us to say that that would be something that we could do or something that we can relate to. In other aspects, as a poultry science major, where when you go to the grocery store, where are your eggs kept? Refrigerator. Well, in the markets in the UK, they don't keep their eggs in the refrigerator. So that's something new in perspective, to put in perspective. Alright, and this picture right here, it looks kind of like a feedlot for those who are familiar with that. Well, it is a feedlot, but not for cattle. It's a feedlot for hogs. Now, there is no way in the world that we can produce as many hogs as we do on a feedlot system. That just wouldn't work for us. Some other neat ideas to think about is these sweet potatoes right here actually came from North Carolina. And we had the opportunity to see them in the market in London, or Ben had an opportunity to see them. They were actually my year. But they actually came from Bethany Barnes' farm, if anybody's familiar with her, or her family's farm. So that's neat to see how that happens.
And another thing, what we really like about this experience is the hands-on learning aspect. So, here in college, we're stuck in these, not four walls, kind of an awkward classroom. But this experience gets us out of the classroom and gets us overseas and experience everything that Beverly just talked about. When we were traveling through Scotland, Scotland has 4 times as many sheep as they do people in the country. So like when we were riding the train up through Scotland, it's just this really unique experience that we see so many sheep. And it's such a different idea of agriculture than what we've got here in the United States. This is a picture of here in Spitalfields Market, where it's just the giant produce market in London. They do most of their sales between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. It's just it's a wholesale market, kind of like a flea market is for us, but it's on a larger scale, and that's where we saw those North Carolina sweet potatoes. Really unique experience. And yeah, we went on, we learned about agriculture, learned about law overseas. We also had a little bit of fun too. Here's Bethany, Beverly in front of Stonehenge. So we get to learn a lot, but we get to have a lot of fun too. So it's a pretty unique experience.
Another cool thing is, as North Carolinians in grade school, we learned about how important Sir Walter Raleigh is to our existence here today. If you go downtown in front of the convention center, there's a big statue that sometimes dons a NC State jersey. Well, this building right here actually was a prison where he was held twice, him and his family. So that's kind of cool to make that connection between our heritage as well as the heritage in London. So, on a personal the level, that was more of the things before that. But now when we want to tie all that together and bring it together to something that's real life and we can make it concrete, it's being marketable to employers. Now as college students, we're always getting to that point where we want a job, we want to make money, we want to be successful. So at our age, we're looking for internships, possible jobs, summer jobs, things like that. Well, we're all doing that. Think about, there's 30,000 kids who go to this university. That's a lot of kids trying to find an internship or a job. So one way to make yourself more marketable and more available is to have the experience of studying abroad. You have that first-hand experience and you gain the knowledge. Whether you're trying to go to Merrick Animal Health and now you've seen what it looks like at Harper Adams University in the UK, or whether you're trying to get a job at Syngenta or Monsanto, Bayer Crop Science, you could go to the James Hunt Institute in Scotland where it gives you the opportunity to see what kind of research they're doing, their opinions, and see firsthand. And this is also, on the bottom, is a social event that we did with the students at Harper Adams University. To put in perspective, their whole university has 3,000 students. And as you know, that's something crazy to compare to.
And one more thing about this, as far as visiting Harper Adams is basically the NC State of the United Kingdom. It's this basically their land-grant university. And when I went on the trip, we were able to visit their ag engineering aspect of the school. And that is actually my other minor is ag engineering. And I was able to use the experiences I had at Harper Adams in a project I did over in Weaver Labs. So it was really unique to find something over in the UK, 3,000 miles away, and bring it back to NC State and work on a project. So it was a really unique experience as well. Next is scholarship and sponsorship. So who thinks that they can't afford this trip? Guarantee you, all of you guys are wrong. One thing that's really unique about this experience is that you take a class throughout the spring semester. So this is over spring break, it's 10 days, but you also take a class throughout the entire spring semester. It's ARE 496, I believe, something along. And you get course credit for going on this trip. So I use my course credit as a U.S. diversity credit, and I got credit towards my major. And also, because you're taking credit for it, you can get a scholarship for financial aid. So my trip was totally paid for through my financial aid, it's for my grants and my scholarships. So I went on the trip totally for free. Now there's another aspect that you do have to pay for your own plane ticket, but Farm Bureau really helps us out as far as partnering with our students, and you can talk to your local Farm Bureau in your county and you can get a scholarship for your plane ticket. Plane tickets are around, my plane ticket was like $995. Farm Bureau gave me a $1,000 scholarship. So they cover the cost of the plane ticket. So I was able to go overseas, experience everything I experienced completely for free. Through money from NC State and money through Farm Bureau. It's an awesome experience, and you get to go for free. Anytime you get to go somewhere else, on someone else's dime, it's a pretty good opportunity, I think.
Farm Bureau has actually created a leadership award or scholarship with its own application. Now, as you get further in depth into this program, you'll be given the application and you can fill it out, and it's sent to all your county farm bureaus. And so it's not like you're competing with 20 other students for one scholarship, but whatever your individual county farm bureau would like to give you. Beyond those two, other community groups, organizations that would like to sponsor you are your Grange or the Carolina Farm Credit. Another one that's not on here is your alumni for your FFA chapters. They're more than willing to sponsor you, and they want to see you do those things. They want to see people in their communities in that small town or wherever you may be from to get together the opportunity to go to London or to Edinburgh to Wales. But I want to put in a plug in for that. If you do get these sponsorships and you do get these scholarships, make sure you go back and say thank you. We had a lot of difficulties last year with getting return Farm Bureau sponsorship because nobody told them thank you for the lots of money that they had donated. Another benefit of having the 4-hour credit class and a time that you meet, for my class we had 2 different options of times you can meet each week. And Melissa Hendrickson is the contact person and is the person who will teach the classes, and she's a very sweet lady for those of you who are not familiar with her, and she's very relaxed and she's willing to work with you if you have to come late or have to leave early for other classes or prior things that you have going on. But a benefit to having that class and that time in the classroom is to prepare you. Now, we didn't go over there into London and get off the airport and have no idea what was going on. We discussed about the difference in the culture before we went, the difference in how the money works, and they of course don't have dollars, they have pounds and euros. And it was really beneficial to already know what we should be looking for, the sights, the sounds, the way we should act. For instance, if we go to a restaurant here, we are expected to tip our waitress or waiter. That's just common courtesy. Over there, they pay their waiters and waitresses a salary, or a wage, not a salary, but therefore they don't expect a tip. So they might try to take advantage of you if they know you're from America. Here's a few more pictures of just our trip. This at the top is from Stonehenge, and down over here, of course, is the well-known telephone booth. One of the things that always made our group laugh is the tube. They don't use terms such as exit or pay attention, or they say things that sound a lot more polite to us, like mind the gap or way out. So that was one thing that stuck with us.
And these are some pictures from my group, our trip. This is at the Roman Baths in Bath, England. A really unique experience. These ancient, old baths. And one thing we talked about when we went over there, old means something totally different when you get to the UK. Old for us means like 200 some years. That's as long as our country has been around. Old for them, these are around thousands of years. And it's something to really experience and touch something that's been around since, when time first got started, as far as when we started timing. This picture is something really unique. We got the opportunity to go to St. Andrew's Golf Course, and I'm not a golfer, never golfed in my life, but this is actually where golf got started. And this is me trying to putt a ball on the original golf course at St. Andrews. It took me 4 times to hit the ball. It was terrible, but it was absolutely a wonderful experience, and I can say that I actually putted on St. Andrews, the original golf course. Pretty awesome experience. And this is in front of the Louvre Museum in Paris. I actually got to see the Mona Lisa there, which is really, really cool. Who thinks they know the size of the Mona Lisa? How big is the Mona Lisa? It's big. I thought it was big. I thought it was this huge, awesome painting. No, it's an 8.5 by 11 photo. And it was absolutely ridiculous trying to get a picture of this little bitty Mona Lisa. But it was really awesome because I got to see the Mona Lisa. And it's experiences like that that I think makes this opportunity, this trip, however you want to put it, that makes it so unique, is that you get to experience more than just Raleigh, more in North Carolina, and more in the United States.
Now, we talked a lot about the educational aspects about it, but there also is a lot of extracurricular or other benefits to going on the trip. We're lucky enough that we have so many faculty members who support this trip and go on this trip who know that you want to do things besides just run around all the time and soak in information. So you do have a lot of time to explore on your own, to go out at night and go to restaurants or local pubs. They have lots of live music over there. It's a humongous difference in the culture, and it's really cool to be able to soak that in on your own.
What's the drinking age over there?
The drinking age is 16, but they do not card. The only time that you ever card or see anything about carding is if you were to go into, now they don't have gas stations like we have in the inner cities, but into the convenience stores or things like that, they have signs I don't remember exactly what the age is here, but it says if you look under such and such age, it's a higher age. Well, over there it says if you look over or under 25, then we'll card you. So.
However, you are representing North Carolina State University and the United States in general, so since the drinking age is 21 over here, you are encouraged not to partake over there because you are representing North Carolina State University. I had to slide that plug for Dr. Campbell.
One last thing is Melissa Hendrickson, this website down here is the website for the trip if you're interested in going. And Melissa Hendrickson has put together an Animoto video, and so we'll let you take a look at that. Maybe.
program is about 10 minutes old when that picture was taken.
One last thing that I want to add is that although our university offers a lot of study abroad programs, this program is particularly for CALS students. And so there's only 20 spots, but they're reserved for us. And so that's an awesome opportunity that we can take advantage of and make sure we get a cool experience. So if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them.
Since you guys went over there and you said like you were being able to be culturized and you know you got a lot from this experience, do you think that you would go back for maybe a job and to live there?
Definitely.
I actually took a little bit of time to talk. We went to two different universities, Harper Adams and the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, and they all have a vet school there. And so I took an opportunity to talk to some of the students there and the possibility of going to school over there. Of course, there's a lot of monetary necessity to go along with that, but it is an opportunity and something that we've thought about.
And same for me. We went to Harper Adams, was the only university we went to, but they have one of the best ag engineering programs in the world. And I spent a lot of time talking to their program director of that, and possibly doing my master's over there. And Dr. Kirby went with us, and she was working with them and trying to see if there's a partnership that can happen between NC State and Harper Adams. So I would definitely go back. I mean, it's awesome. It's a good experience. Any other questions?
What is the cost if you don't get financial aid?
The cost of the actual trip varies for several reasons. For one, because we have to transfer the money has to be converted from American dollars to euros and pounds. So the way it works is that Dr. Hendrickson tries her best to guesstimate and estimate how much it's going to cost, and so then that's the price that she gives you. I think that estimation is anywhere from $35,000 to $44,000, and from that you pay in your installments or you pay in one lump sum. Then that goes to pay for the things that she pays before you go on your trip, and then the things that she has to pay when you get there, the tours and the bus and the things like that. The leftover money is divided up, and that's given to you allotted each day. So I spent a lot of money, but none of it was on food because the money she gave us covered my expenses for food. Now that price does not include your plane ticket, so you will have to buy that one separate. And I can't remember. I think mine was just a little under $1,000 too.
The program without airfare is $1,950.
Oh, okay.
$1,950 plus $300 for study abroad and about $1,000 for your airfare.
Okay, so I take that back. It was $3,500 total. But
And-
still, I mean, it works out.
And for me, I didn't spend any money when I got over there. Like she said, you pay this one lump sum, and then Miss Henderson gives you money every day for certain activities. So I spent maybe like $200 more than what I actually paid on the trip, and that was just for some souvenirs to bring back home. So you pay this money, but then that's all the money you're going to spend, I promise, because there's so much built into the program. Everything's paid for you. The food is paid for you, so you don't have to worry about anything. It takes a lot of hassle. That was one thing my parents were worried about. My dad is very paranoid about some things, and money is one of them. But when he found out that you pay this one lump sum and then you get it back every day, it took a lot of burden off my parents and made it easier for me to convince them to let me go overseas.
And it's beneficial for her to give you just that cash, to give you the pounds, because then you don't have to worry about going to an ATM over there or having to withdraw cash from the airport or things like that. So I think all of our breakfasts were paid for, and then that money she gave us covered the other meals. So I guess it depends on how much you want to spend, how much you want to blow.
Any other questions?
Let's give them both a big hand.